Ever heard that silence? It can be louder than a scream. In a quiet town like Pine Valley, Oregon, the silence was deafening, especially when the fog crept in, thick and heavy like a shroud. Back in 1997, on one of those gray, muted evenings, a family's life was about to be turned upside down. Lena's father came home with something tucked under his arm. It was a ventriloquist doll, its paint faded, its red lips chipped, its black hair slicked back. But de Ellis. The eyes were too bright, too aware for something that wasn't alive. He'd found it in a forgotten little magic shop just off the highway. The old woman at the counter, her eyes cloudy and strange, leaned in close as he paid. She whispered, her voice like rustling leaves. When you put your hand inside the doll, it wakes up. Lena's dad just laughed it off. He really shouldn't have. Lena, just a little girl, was instantly captivated. She named the doll Marlowe and treated him like a cherished friend. At first, everything was fine, but then, just a few days later, the first unsettling thing happened. Marlowe's smile changed. It was wider, showing more teeth, somehow sharper than before. This was impossible. The doll's head was made of hard, unyielding resin. Lena's mother insisted it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. But then they noticed the eyes. Every morning, they'd be looking in a different direction than the night before. That's when the unease truly set in. The family started a ritual. Every single night, they'd place Marlowe inside a heavy wooden cabinet, wrapping a thick leather belt around the handles to make sure it stayed shut. They told themselves they were just protecting the doll from getting accidentally damaged. But deep down, they knew they were trying to protect themselves. One cold winter night, at precisely 2:43 a.m., the entire house woke up. Tap. 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 Tap, tap. 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 Fast, light little footsteps skittering across the living room floor downstairs. Lena's father, his heart pounding, grabbed a flashlight. Lena, terrified but unwilling to be left alone, clung to the back of his shirt. They crept down the stairs and into the living room. It was completely empty. No one was there. The family dog was asleep in its bed. No sign of a break-in. There was only Marlowe, sitting calmly on the couch, his head tilted slightly, as if he was listening. They rushed back upstairs. The wooden cabinet was still there, the belt still tightly wrapped around the handles, exactly as they had left it. Lena's father's voice was a trembling whisper in the dark. How did he get here? The only answer was the slow, chilling creak of a floorboard right behind them. But Marlowe didn't just move on his own. He started to talk, not with a hand inside him, but with stolen voices. One afternoon, Lena and her father were out. Her uncle, Mark, had stayed behind to lock up the house. As he was about to leave, he heard a familiar voice call out, "Mark, come help me." It was Lena's father's voice, clear as day, but her father wasn't home. Confused, Mark walked back into the living room, and there was Marlowe, sitting on the couch, facing him, grinning. That was the last straw. The family had to get rid of it. They tried to burn the doll, but the flames seemed to bend and curl around it, never actually touching the painted wood. They tried to chop it up, but knives bent, an axe blade snapped clean in two. In desperation, they threw it in the trash can and put it out for a collection. The next morning, it was sitting perfectly upright at the end of their driveway, right next to the mailbox, waiting. Finally, in a last, desperate act, Lena's dad dug a deep pit in the backyard. He dropped the doll into the cold earth and filled the hole with cement, burying it under a solid slab of stone. Not long after, the family moved away from Pine Valley, leaving the fog and the fear behind them. But even years later, Lena is still haunted by dreams of tiny footsteps running through a dark house, and the faint, rhythmic sound of something knocking, trying to get out from deep beneath the ground. Now, let's travel south, far from Oregon's fog, to the humid summer air of Maple Ridge, Arkansas. A little girl named Elise spent her summers at her grandmother's old, weathered farmhouse. The thing she remembered most wasn't the house itself, but the giant pecan tree in the yard end. The man who was always waiting for her beneath it. He smelled of old pipe tobacco and cedar wood. He wore worn-out suspenders and a hat that was always tipped just so over one eye. He called himself Old Tom, and he told the most wonderful stories. Stories from a time long past, about hiding liquor from the law down in the woods, about getting into fistfights outside dusty old saloons, and about the people he had loved and lost decades before Elise was even born. She absolutely adored him. The only thing was, Old Tom had been dead for 3 years. As a child, Elise never knew. The truth was a ghost she couldn't see. She didn't think anything of it when she heard the heavy footsteps walking through the house at midnight. Thump, thump, thump. A slow, steady pace down the main hallway. She just knew that on the anniversary of his death, her grandmother would refuse to sleep inside. She'd stay out on the porch all night, lighting candles and whispering into the darkness. "He's walking tonight." Elise would lie in her bed and listen. She'd hear the sound of drawers being opened and closed in his old room. She'd hear the slide of heavy boots across the floorboards. Sometimes she'd even hear the faint sound of humming the same simple tune Old Tom always hummed while sitting under the pecan tree. But she never put it together. To her, he was real. He was warm, a comforting presence in her summer world. It wasn't until she was a grown woman, visiting the farmhouse long after those childhood summers had passed, that her grandmother finally told her the truth. She looked at Elise with sad, knowing eyes and said, "Child, Old Tom passed away before you even took your first breath." 2 hauntings from 2 different corners of the country show us something important. Some entities, some spirits, stay behind because they are trapped, unable to leave. Others stay because they refuse to. Marlowe, encased in cement, waits patiently. He's just waiting for someone to dig a little too close, to disturb his concrete tomb and set him free. Old Tom, on the other hand, loyal even in death, waits under his favorite pecan tree, a guardian watching over the family he loved. Not all spirits are created equal. Some are protectors, some are followers, some are hunters, and some, like Marlowe, are just sleeping, waiting to wake up. Thanks so much for watching. If you have a story you think we should hear, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange and unsettling tales. Stay safe out there.